I do, and I think it's funny that he came sans Randy. Bruce was on last week, and we talked about, maybe the new assistant superintendent, Curt Shelley, will be here soon. Well, look at that. You're here today.
I am.
And I said, maybe Randy will bring him in. Well, you came without Randy. So you got thrown to the wolves all by yourself.
I did. I'm here, and I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We're excited to have you here. Can we talk? Can we talk a little bit about your background and kind of the transition into the school district? Because you came from a very different environmental culture, at least.
I sure did.
Yeah.
I would tell you that most recently I've been in John Day, which is Grant County, Eastern Oregon. Some people are making fun of me, telling me I'm moving from the dust to the rust, but I'm ready for the.
That's funny.
I'm ready for the change. I'm ready for the climate change. I'm ready for my career change a little bit. So John Day is a small school, a 2A school, 650 kids in the district, K-12, very remote and very rural. Has some similarities in some ways to Tillamook, but a lot of differences. Prior to that, I was in the Bend Lapine School District, where I taught at Summit School. And prior to that, I was in Central Oregon, also at the Culver School District outside of Redmond, between Redmond and Madras. So I have a considerable amount of teaching and coaching background. I've been a dean of students, worked my way through the ranks to become a principal, and then on up to a superintendent. I've been a superintendent for the last few years in John Day, and excited to be the assistant superintendent here, future superintendent for Tillamook.
Awesome. And how has your transition been? Is it similar? I mean, obviously every school district has their own stuff, right?
I think the beautiful thing about this transition is the way it's set up and the way the board has set it up for Randy to be there, a mentor, if you will, to allow me to transition and start taking over more and more responsibilities throughout the school year.
Right.
And so it's been really nice for me to have Randy available in the office as needed, but it's been also nice for me to learn some of the ropes that are a little bit different than what I'm accustomed to in John Day.
Sure.
So,
I appreciate the way they did it as well. I don't have any kids in the school district, but just having been in the corporate field for many, many, many years, there were always, we would get like a VP would leave and then there would be a new VP, but there would never be this transition period where they would learn the way that we do things because we do it for a certain way, and then they come in and change everything up. So I appreciate how this is happening because you get to learn and understand and get to know the people. And then once Randy leaves, then you can start making changes if, you feel like they're more efficient. But I like that there's not just this hard end and then a new start.
I agree with you. And generally speaking, in education, you don't see this type of configuration. Somebody retires or somebody leaves a position and maybe they don't have the time or they're not willing to assist the new person. And so the beautiful thing about this is it's configured to where this transition so far has been pretty seamless, and we have enjoyed working together. I've known Randy for quite some time. High respect to Randy. I've got large shoes to fill. I joke with him all the time. This district has not known any other superintendent in the century.
Yeah.
And so that's a long time.
I mean, there are kids that are graduating this year that have had Randy since they were in kindergarten as a superintendent.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ironic that some of the people that work for us in the administration and in the school system babysit Randy's kids. He was their typing teacher. So I get to hear a lot of stories about Randy from his coach to his teacher. But it's been a great transition. I know I have big shoes to fill. I'm excited about it. I'm a hard worker. I'm relatively knowledgeable with the Tillamook School District. Did my homework before I took the job. Wanted to make sure that this was a good fit for my family and I. So my wife works at the high school as a college career coordinator. My son's a junior enjoying Tillamook High School. And my daughter is going to be a freshman at Western Oregon University, and she's pursuing education. Oh,
very cool. It's probably I graduated from Sandy High School, which is a pretty big school district. And I remember going to that high school. I actually went to Redmond my freshman year and then going to Sandy, and it was a lot bigger.
Right.
Does your son feel like that? I mean, because 650 kids in the whole school district.
Yeah, I think for my son, what he's finding is that there are pros and cons to small or medium or large districts. You have the same programs but perhaps a little bit more opportunity as a little bit larger size of school. And he's very excited about academics. He understands that's a priority and wants to continue his education at some point in time, probably at Oregon State in agriculture. He also has enjoyed the FFA program. It's a good program here. That's not just a plug for them, but it's a really good program statewide, nationwide.
Yep.
Athletics, he has fit right in and is enjoying football.
Oh, awesome.
Especially last weekend compared to the weekend before.
Right,
He enjoyed the win more than the loss.
Yes,
but,
I'm sure.
Hopefully they've grown from that, and it was nice to see them bounce back. So my son has adapted really well, although it's difficult. He comes from John Day, where he started as a kindergartner.
Right. Has
so
all
now
his friends.
He's moving as a junior, but good kid, loves academics and likes school and friendly. So I think he'll fit well and be a nice addition to Tillamook.
Good. Nice. And how's the new school year been for you and been for the district? And
it's great. This time of year is my favorite time of year. The educational buzz is what I call it. And it's nice to see in service and welcome back and see the chatter of the teachers and the new ideas and share the summer and then start talking about what are we going to offer kids this year? What are we going to do to make our system better? And how are we going to help kids? One thing that's really, I guess, encouraging is that our school district is growing. We are actually in some spots not only growing but bulging. We have first week of school 2,283 students. A year ago we had 2,199 to start the year. And 2 years ago, we had 2,139 students. So we've increased approximately 143 students, but actually here we're up over 150 from 2 years ago, which that's a big jump, which poses some problems for us. We have some bubble classes, fourth grade, and some different places where
fourth grade class.
Where we have to have a plan this year of what is that going to look like as we move forward. Is that more classrooms, more modulars, more staffing? So those are all things that we are working on right now with a long-term plan.
I know Bruce last week was talking about the new, the freshman program.
Yeah, Freshman on Track.
Yeah, Freshman on Track. That seems to be, I mean, it's only the second week of school, but it seems to be working out.
I think
decently.
We understand the importance of every grade level. We understand the importance of being able to read at third grade fluently if we're going to be successful. We understand data and success stories and fail stories. But one thing we know that we can do better is that what does attendance look like as a freshman, and what are the grades looking like, and how many credits are they going to have at the end of the freshman year? They need to be there to begin with, and we need to build relationships with them, and they need to feel like they are cared about and have a placeholder. So I'm eager and excited to work through this, not only with that, but with the chalkboard grant. I'll be working with how can we make this even stronger. So we are focusing at the high school on all students, but we're really putting our thumb on freshmen and saying, hey, how can we do better to help those students transition from the junior high to the high school and be successful?
Right. Which I would think would carry, if they're planning on going to a college, that those skills and that extra care would carry with them, not only through high school, but also into college, getting that extra boost right at the beginning of the high school career.
Yeah, I think it's a huge piece of transition, understanding how to organize your time, understanding how to prioritize things, understanding that procrastination is not your friend in education. So some little things, but also some relationship skills, just how you treat others, how you listen, how you hear, how you treat your peers, how you become respectful. So if you can learn the social skills first, it seems like the academics will flow a little bit easier.
And those kids at that age level, that's a tough age level because they're just starting puberty and then they got all the hormones and now you're put in with a bunch of older kids who've kind of figured it out. Yeah,
it's often the age where students say, I like or I dislike school. And what we hope that we have is that a staff member can show that they care and a student realizes that someone cares about them and then they want to be there. So that's the first step, is getting them there, knowing that they're cared about, and then let's move forward with academic rigor.
And what Bruce was explaining was the freshman track program is kind of a set of teachers that those kids all kind of transition in between during the day.
Correct. And, one thing that's really nice this year with all freshmen, we're giving them the discovery training, which is basically part of our trauma-informed care. And that will be nice because all freshmen in first trimester will have that opportunity to go through the discovery training. But yeah, this is a good thing. As I'm new, I'm not as familiar with it as I will be in about 9 weeks from now. So I'm speaking about something that I'm just learning and watching.
Somebody came in last year and talked about it because they implemented it last year at the school district. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, one of the teachers came in and talked about it. Want to talk about the bond?
Yeah, I think the bond, that's the really obvious part of the bond is when you drive to South Prairie. And
I know, which I haven't been down there yet.
You look at the facility, they did such a nice job. What you notice when you first drive in is, well, we have a parking lot now and we have a bus drop off and it's paved and it's really nice compared to what it was a year ago. But when you take a really closer look and you walk inside and you see a cafeteria with huge windows with a southern exposure, it makes you wonder how we fed those kids in the cafeteria facility that we had.
Right.
And then looking forward to a covered playground structure, which is highly needed.
Yeah.
And what
this week is a perfect example.
Exactly. And I hear a lot of students that are 4th, 5th, 6th grade, even high school kids saying, when I was there, I didn't have any of that stuff. Why is it there now? But I think it was much needed. I didn't experience the old cafeteria. I didn't experience going to school and not having a covered playground structure or not having a parking lot. I wouldn't say we're spoiled, but we're close to it at South Prairie now.
Yeah, well, that's great. So is the cafeteria, well, I don't know if you're familiar enough with the school, but is it right when you walk in the door to the right? So it's where the library used to be?
So if you walk in the door where the library currently is, it's actually to your left. So it's towards the playground and the fields.
Oh, okay.
So it's on the west wing of the school.
Gotcha. So it's kind of, I think the gym used maybe it's part of where the gym was.
It's hooked right up to
it's
hooked right up to the south side of the gym.
Nice. Yeah, good. I know that was a problem last year when they were trying to get the bond approved. They were showing pictures of, kids were having, I went to Beaver Grade School, which is non-existent now, but we ate in our classrooms. We didn't have a cafeteria, but it was also like 150 kids K through 8. So
it's difficult where they were trying to feed students in internal room, no windows, no lighting, pretty small in space, having to stagger lunches. And that makes it difficult in a lot of ways with personnel.
Well,
just
and the
cooking
kids
alone.
too, when they're eating really early or eating really late and they're not eating right kind of in that midday section, it makes it difficult for them too.
Yep, should be good.
Awesome. Do you know what other are there bond projects that are going to be going on during the school year?
There are. We're going to be moving into some other projects. Even next summer will even be busier.
Right, yeah.
Not only with bond, but with
seismic. Yeah.
And so we're going to be going out for some of those, looking through some of those bids and coming up with who the contractors will be. I can't really speak too much of that at this point in time because we don't have that set yet.
Right.
So we don't have contractors selected. We have projects, but at this point in time, I'm not down the road far enough yet to speak to that.
Well, and I would think, there are things that you can do during the school year, but things aren't going to be disruptive, obviously, to the school day.
More challenges when you can't work between 8 and 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you have to work in evenings and on weekends and not be a disruption. So summers are a busy time. And with that being said, it's difficult to find contractors during that time in a short period. And with the number of seismic and bonds that are going out, it's difficult to find general contractors that can put the manpower together to get this accomplished.
Right. I know I don't know that you out in John Day, if they had that issue, but it's an issue here just for everything, road construction. That's why when you go out to Portland during the summertime, there's always road construction. Well, because it's the weather.
I tell Randy all the time, different school districts, same issues, just got a seismic rehabilitation grant, and John Day had the exact same thing. We didn't get it accomplished in the first summer. We didn't find a contractor, and we've had some of that here. And so it didn't get accomplished until this last summer when I left to make those improvements. So it's statewide where we're having issues there, which is kind of nice to think that the state has recognized that we need some improvements with our facilities. And that's one thing, if you go through and you look at our facilities, we call it the new gym or this, and then we look back and say, well, that was built how many years ago?
Right.
And we're still calling it the new gym.
Yeah.
And so you look at some of the years that our facilities were built, and two major issues that we have in our district right now is facilities was one of them, and basically we have classes bulging, and so we don't have the facilities to put them in.
Right.
So those are things for a long range plan that we're going to have to address.
Yeah. I do want to take this moment and because I'm going to tie back to FFA. Part of the reason there's a crunch and not availability of contractors or electricians or whatever, roofers, is because the people in that industry are kind of aging out, and there's not a influx of newer generation taking over. And I think it's really great that Tillamook High School has a shop class and a mechanics class.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's happened here, we had the perfect storm. We all remember what 2007 looked like.
Mm-hmm.
We had a major issue with our economy.
Right.
And education was held hostage as well. Mm-hmm. And we had significant cuts. So not only have we chased statewide assessments, which used to be OAKS and now Smarter Balanced testing, we also realized that we had to cut things that weren't mandated as, and so you see what you and I might have known as our old culinary or home ec classes are gone. A lot of woodshop classes that we used to have or mechanics classes. But what you see is there's now the pendulum has swung, and you see that the state legislature and the nation has realized CTE courses, career and technology and education, and STEM is really important for kids. And if you go look at our school system now, you'll see those things are now growing back again.
Right.
So we are judged and we are evaluated and we get a grade on how we do a state assessments. But we also realize that that grade is not necessarily explain how we're doing with kids, and we need to look at what science, what ag, and what other pieces are extremely important, and what things do we offer students that maybe we're not testing them on with math, language arts, and science. Those are important, and it's important to have a good base, but it's also important to give them some skills. Students then were cut when they got out of college and they couldn't find a job. They had $100,000 worth of bills to pay. So they're in debt, and then they had to go to a trade school of some sort to get a job to pay off their debt. And so it was obvious that something had to change. So yes, and you know, I'm excited about where we're at with our ag program right now. And not only their ag program, but there's some, you know, obviously our natural resources and our science options. We do a very nice job with what we have here.
Awesome. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about Tillamook Bay Community College. Registration is now open at TBCC, Tillamook Bay Community College. College's fall registration is open, and now is a great time to get the education you've always wanted, with a variety of programs and courses available, including forestry, manufacturing and industrial technology, criminal justice and public safety, the online business administration degree, and more. You can also get your transfer degree and take your TBCC credits to a 4-year university. There are a variety of financial resources available to all types of students, including scholarships through the TBCC Foundation. The last day to register for classes is September 23rd, and classes start September 24th. Go see a career education advisor today. Call 842-8222, extension 1100, or visit tillamookbaycc.edu for more information. So that is not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. Got a little over a week and a half if you want to register for classes. We're talking with Curt Shelley, the assistant superintendent for the school district. And can we talk a little bit about the school board? I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that, and I don't feel like we do enough of that.
Yeah, I think what happens
in
is
this setting, at least.
People don't really understand at times what school boards do. So, you know, they try to stay in their lanes and their alleys and what's their responsibilities. And, you know, basically a school board hires the superintendent and they approve policy. So those are the two major functions that a school board does. I would tell you Tillamook School District 9 Board of Directors is actively engaged and really does a nice job, not only with those two pieces, but they also have been very active and supportive. And this year, they've met several times throughout the summer, come up with some goals, evaluation plans of the superintendent, assistant superintendent. And I wanted to share with you the board goals that our board has created. Around student achievement. They want to improve student achievement K-12 and ensure the student success after graduation. So they have some plans on wanting to do that. That's one thing. Probably the biggest thing that the board would like to do is focus on communication to parents, students, and community in a positive manner be consistent, be transparent, while encouraging our staff to do the same. And I think communication is the key to success in almost everything that we do, and the board agrees. And so they would like to see better communication, more communication, especially with our Latino population, other subgroups that may or may not be as engaged as we'd like to see them engaged. And so the board recognizes that we have to do a better job as a school district in order to make that successful. They also realize the importance of recruiting and retaining quality teachers, quality administrators, good performing people, and being able to recruit not only good ones, but ones that are diverse and look like our students. So we need to do a nice job of making sure that our employees represent what our students need. We need to recruit well, and we need to hold those teachers here. And I think the other thing that the board would like to do is ensure the consistent, equitable use of district resources to improve efficiency and safety of our schools. And a number of things that we've done already is video cameras are going into the school systems. We have a key lock entry now, so you don't use the key, which allows you to track who goes in your building, and allows you to set those things. But that's just a few of the things. I think what the board is looking for is, how do we utilize resources to help our kids at the other end, post high school, to be prepared for the next opportunity in their life, whatever that may be, college, career, work, whatever that may be. So really impressed with the board, five-person board. All have been welcoming to me, got to know them well when they came out and did a visit in my school district. So they came to John Day.
Oh, really?
And went through the schools and stayed in the community for a day and got to know me and the community. And I was pretty impressed, and I am impressed with each individual personality on the board. It's great.
Awesome. We just have a few minutes left. I think you also want to talk about sports, right?
Yeah, I think it's really
There's a
important.
lot going on right now.
There's so
Fall
much going
sports.
on.
Yeah.
But I think they're all important. It was really nice. I've had a chance to get to soccer games, to volleyball games, football games. I went to the Tillamook.
The race?
The cross-country race. My son and I looked at each other and we said, real men and women do cross-country here. Because it was obvious that was
Pat's
great.
wife does a good job with that.
Great to see cheerleading group. It's just wonderful to see the extracurricular activities that are going on. It's fantastic. So kudos to those coaches and advisors that are assisting. It's just nice to see kids having opportunities, not necessarily basing things on wins and losses, although it seems like we're pretty successful this fall so far too. So.
Yeah. Something else I wanted to mention. I know, I think the drama, well, not the drama program isn't coming back right now, but I think the high school is looking at doing another musical this spring. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
More information to come on that as well.
Yeah. And I like, because I helped out with the You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, which was in the spring. And it was nice to see how many kids were involved. And some were doing, some of those kids do like sports, and they were doing track and the play at the same time, or the musical at the same time. And the same thing at fall. You got kids doing a couple different sports, and then they're working. And man, I don't feel like I was that driven when I was in high school.
Very critical in today's society to give kids quality opportunities to keep them engaged, but still work within the means of what we're capable of doing financially. And sometimes you find some districts have so many things going that they don't do a great job at all of them. What I'm finding is that if a kid wants to find their niche in our school district, it's there.
Yeah.
So
it's
nice.
Great. Is there a home game this week?
No, football team travels to Junction City Friday night.
Okay. But they did, Milton Freewater. Oof.
Yeah,
they
it's a good
blew
ball
them
game.
Out of the water.
Yes, we did 48-0. I actually traveled and watched the football game because my son plays. So. Oh, sure.
Yeah. That's a long drive.
It is.
Did you ride on the bus, or did you drive yourself?
No, drove myself.
Well, it's good talking to you today. Is there anything else we can cover?
I think that does it. I'm excited to be here. I'm eager to be here. I'm learning people's names. I'm learning the Tillamook way, and I've enjoyed that. I've definitely enjoyed my change, and it's really sparked my career. The Shelley family is really excited to be in Tillamook County.
It's, like we said when we started, Randy's been here 18 years?
This is his 18th, start of his 18th year as a superintendent.
Yeah, which is almost unheard of, just that length of time.
The average superintendent in the state of Oregon stays 2.3 years.
And then moves to a different school?
Yes.
Wow. Or school district, I guess.
Yep. So
wow.
he's done a good job there. I'm excited to follow somebody that's done a great job. A lot of people have said to me, really, you want to take over somebody's job that they've been there 17 years? I do. We're in good shape financially. We have a good school. We're doing a wonderful job. I would not have come here if I didn't think I wanted to continue to raise my kids here in a school system, retire here, and live in this community. So I'm excited to be here, and I look forward to the challenge.
Yeah, and I think it's nice in the school district itself. There's like Bruce, for example. He was a teacher, and he was a principal, and I don't think he obviously wasn't superintendent. I don't think, no. But you have, even after Randy is retired, you still have a lot of mentors and people around that can help. And it sounds like everyone's behind you.
I'm a Linfield grad, and I can remember Coach Rutschman, Ad Rutschman, telling me you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with. And I would tell you that as a superintendent, I hate to admit this, but we're average at everything we do, because we deal with budgeting, and we deal with curriculum, we deal with human resources, transportation, and we have to rely on good people around us. Yeah.
Have fun on those early morning. Has Randy
He has
prepped you on the early morning drives?
He's told me that he won't miss making a decision whether or not we're having school or not. But I come from,
you're going to be the bad guy whether you call it or not.
Well, here's the deal. I come from John Day. He asked me, when do you guys cancel school in John Day? And I said, when it's 30 below zero and the buses gel and the diesel fuel freezes and we can't start it. And he said, well,
so you're even more hardcore.
He said, let me know how that works out for you if you make those kind of decisions. So Randy is doing a good job of mentoring me and breaking me into the routes that I need to go check at 4:30 in the morning.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming in this morning. It was good talking to you.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow we'll have your wellness folks here. Don't forget senior meals, noon every weekday at the Kiowanda Community Center in Pacific City, as well as the Tillamook Senior Center at 4th and Stillwell. Cost is $3 for seniors and $6.75 for everyone else. Tonight there's a volleyball game at THS at 7 p.m. Friday is the opening of Tapa's fall play, God of Carnage. This one-act play opens Friday at 7 with another show Saturday at 7, and then the following 2 weekends. This story is a glimpse into the chaotic evening of childish behavior, and audiences can interpret the events for themselves and decide how the evening ends for each character. Each character is flawed, but none more so than the other. Saturday is Art Accelerated's open mic night from 6:30 to 8 at Yo Time. Sunday from 1 to 8, the newest gym out at the port is having a grand opening event. Meet the owners of Silkwood Fitness and work out free of charge. Their address is 6000 Blimp Boulevard, Unit B. And yesterday I mentioned that there was free fishing weekend this weekend. Yeah, that was actually last weekend, so scratch what I said. And farmers markets, get them before they're gone. Manzanita, Friday night from 5 to 8. Tillamook, Saturday morning, 9 to 2. Nescoin, Saturday morning, 9 to 1. And Pacific City, Sunday, 10 to 2 at the South County Library. Curt, thanks again for coming in. Looking forward to good things from you and hearing from you.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, and thank you, Tillamook, for listening.